did a thing yesterday, the speech. Did everybody like the speech? You had a laugh. So I've been given good news, but we had a massive field of people. You saw that, packed. I get up this morning, I turn on one of the networks, and they show an empty field. I said, wait a minute, I made a speech. I looked out. The field it looked like 1.5 million people. They showed a field where there were practically nobody standing there. It looked like 1.5 million people, whatever it was, but it went all the way back to the Washington Monument.
We begin tonight with a day of controversy within the Trump White House over a claim made once again by the president that's never been proven. Tonight, the White House says he stands by it. President Trump inviting congressional leaders over to the White House last night and then talking about the election, saying he lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton because of millions of illegal votes. But there has never been any proof of that.
If you look at voter registration, you look at the dead people that are registered to vote, who vote. You look at people that are registered in 2 states. You look at all of these different things that are happening with registration. You take a look at those registration, you're going to find, and we're going to do an investigation on it.
But 3 to 5 million illegal votes?
Well, we're going to find out, but it could very well be that much. You have people that are registered who are dead, who are illegals, who are in 2 states. You have people registered in 2 states. They're registered in New York and in New Jersey. They vote twice. There are millions of votes, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to do an investigation.
You're now president of the United States. When you say,
of course, and I want the voting process to be legitimate.
But what I'm asking, when you say, in your opinion, millions of illegal votes, that is something that is extremely fundamental to our functioning democracy, a fair and free election.
Sure.
You say you're going to launch an investigation into this.
Done.
What you have presented so far has been debunked. It's been called false.
Take a look at the Pew reports.
I called the author of the Pew report last night, and he told me that they found no evidence of voter fraud.
Really? Then why did he write the report?
He said no evidence of voter fraud.
Excuse me. Then why did he write the report? So according to Pew report, then he's groveling again. You know, I always talk about the reporters that grovel when they want to write something that you want to hear, but not necessarily millions of people want to hear or have to hear.
So you've launched an investigation?
We're going to launch an investigation to find out, and then the next time, and I will say this, of those votes cast, none of them come to me. None of them come to me. Victory was that the men and women of this country who have been forgotten will never be forgotten again. Part of that is when they try and demean me unfairly, because we had a massive crowd of people. We had a crowd, I looked over that sea of people and I said to myself, wow. And I've seen crowds before, big crowds. That was some crowd. When I looked at the numbers that happened to come in from all of the various sources, we had the biggest audience in the history of inaugural speeches. I won't allow you or other people like you to demean that crowd and to demean the people that came to Washington, D.C. from faraway places because they like me. Here's a picture of the crowd. Now, the audience was the biggest ever, but this crowd was massive. Look how far back it goes. This crowd was massive. And I would actually take that camera and take your time if you want.
And just before we leave, the president tells us he wants to show us just one more image.
One thing this shows is how far over they go. Here, look how far this is. This goes all the way down here, all the way down. Nobody sees that. You don't see that in the pictures. But when you look at this tremendous sea of love, I call it a sea of love. It's really something special that all these people traveled here from all parts of the country, maybe the world, but all parts of the country. Hard for them to get here. Many of these people were the forgotten men and women, many of them. And they loved what I had to say. president of Mexico and myself have agreed to cancel our planned meeting scheduled for next week. Unless Mexico is going to treat the United States fairly, with respect, such a meeting would be fruitless, and I want to go a different route. We're up against an enemy that celebrates death and totally worships destruction. You've seen that. ISIS is on a campaign of genocide, committing atrocities across the world. Radical Islamic terrorists are determined to strike our homeland, as they did on 9/11, as they did from Boston to Orlando to San Bernardino. And all across Europe, you've seen what happened in Paris and Nice. All over Europe, it's happening. It's gotten to a point where it's not even being reported. And in many cases, the very, very dishonest press doesn't want to report it. They have their reasons, and you understand them. The murder rate in our country is the highest it's been in 47 years, right? Did you know that? 47 years. I used to use that. I'd say that in a speech, and everybody was surprised, because the press doesn't tell it like it is.
tweet.
All right.
Can I do the honors?
Stand by. Tweet alert.
There's a tweet alert from.
Well, it matters because it's about me.
All right. So Chris is willing to read it now.
In his interview with Senator Blumenthal, never asked him about his long-term lie about his brave service in Vietnam. Fake news. Let's just please show the top of the interview. United States saying you should not be believed because you misrepresented your military record in the past.
There's no question that Judge Gorsuch said to me that he found these attacks on the judiciary by the president to be
Really, the first point that I made in the interview, the president, with all due respect, is once again off on the facts. And that's not something that any of us have any desire to say on a regular basis, but it keeps being true. Fake news is the worst thing that you can call a journalist. It's like an ethnic disparagement. We all have these ugly words for people. That's the one for journalists. And David, he just keeps doubling down when the facts don't favor his position. He just said, you never asked him about it. I did. He ducked it, and that's okay. Politicians duck things all the time. The truth of the matter asserted is about whether or not this judge says what Blumenthal says he said. His own comms guy says it. Nobody denies it except the President of the United States. And once again, he doubles down when he's wrong.